Alright guys, welcome back to Apex V2R. I am Marc Andre. Today we got something special for you guys. So we're going to be trying out for the first time this beautiful AccuForce Pro V2 from SimXperience. And going to give you a bit of feedback on the Heusinkveld sprints. I've had these for a while, just haven't really spoken about it or done any reviews. So we're going to kind of review that. So for those of you that have been to our store before or that have been following us, you know that we typically use Thrustmaster equipment. We've got our TLCMs that come out that we typically carry. We have our brake mod that help you get a better feel from the brake pedal, get a hydraulic feel from the brake pedal. And we normally use the TSPC racers. Today what we're going to do is just try some equipment that is higher quality just to see, first off, is it worth it? So without further ado, I'm now sitting in iRacing in a beautiful 911 RSR around the Nürburgring. So I'm actually in a live server with other people. So let's see how it goes. So just coming out of the pits now, I can already tell a big difference going over bumps on the surface or curbing. The feedback I'm getting is a lot more dynamics. Instead of being like a monotone vibration, there's a lot more depth to each bump or each signal that's coming through the steering wheel. Like they're faint. Let's go over this curve here. It's like I can literally tell the moment the suspension gets compressed up and then compressed down going on and off the curbing. Same thing there. Dropping off the curbing isn't just a vibration. You can literally tell and feel the height, the height that the car is dropping, which is loading the suspension more initially.
The leader has just done a 149.72. Sector 1 is 1.2 off the pace.
You can also feel the way the suspension's working a lot better. So the initial moments of understeer or oversteer, a lot easier to spot. And the way that the wheel reacts, again, because there's a lot more depth to what you're feeling, it actually makes it easier to catch the car and react more quickly. All right, now let's check in with the brakes. So all in all, I have been on these pedals for a while now. I have to say that the brake pedal itself and how it feels is very similar to how the TLCMs will with our brake mod. And the reason for that is because of the type of materials that are being used to give you the resistance behind the brake pedal with the Heusinkveld. They're both load cell pedals, so in terms of performance, both quite similar. Obviously, the construction on the Heusinkveld sprints is of better quality, complete metal, independent pedals, and all of the pedals are on load cells. So in terms of the gas, the brake overall, and then the clutch especially, it feels more like a real car. Now, is it worth the difference in price between the TLCMs and the Heusinkveld Sprints? Possibly not. I don't think the construction in the pedal itself is necessarily worth spending that much more money. What is important to note here is the software that comes with the Heusinkveld Sprints. So I won't bring it up on screen now, obviously, because I'm driving, but Heusinkveld allows you to really customize how the pressure of the pedal is being read and transmitted back into the game. First off, I can change the amount of max kilograms, so the amount of weight that is required to reach 100% of brake pressure on these pedals. I can change things like the brake curves by increments of 5 or 10%. I can change if, at, let's say, 15%, I want the pedals to register a little bit more pressure. So it really allows me to make the pedals react the way I feel they should react for the game. So all in all, I remember going from the T3A Pro pedals to the TLCM load cells initially, and I did shave a good amount off my lap times. When I went from the TLCMs over to the Heusinkveld, I did improve again. Now, the gains were very minimum. I do have a better feel. I am a little bit more consistent on the Heusinkveld, but I may have only gained a tenth or two at most a lap. So whether you think that's worth the extra money, that's up to you to decide. I know for myself, the TLCMs are more than good enough to be competing on iRacing against the best. But being on the Heusinkveld and being able to adjust the software, it's a good thing as well. So all in all, your decision. For now, I'm going to keep testing with the Heusinkvelds and hopefully going to be trying something out new sooner than later. All right, guys, so that was just a little bit of driving with the wheel. Now let's just talk about the actual construction. So the base is actually pretty solid. I know I've seen some reviews of guys that have complained a little bit about the mounting points on the wheel. I can tell you that everything is as solid as I could ask. So I'm not having any issues there. As you can see, I'm not using the wheel that's behind me, which is the original wheel that comes with the Pro V2. I normally like a Formula wheel or a GT3 style wheel, so something with a bit of a smaller diameter. So right out of the gate, I went for their mod that they've offered. I love it. Nice diameter for me. The buttons are very well accessible. One of the things that I did not expect or did not know when I got the wheel was that this horn button actually is a functional button. So you end up having 13 buttons on the steering wheel, which I think is definitely good enough. And some nice little carbon fiber paddles back there, Alcantara wheel. Pretty cool feature from going from a TSPC racer to the direct drives in terms of how real you're starting to get to real cars is this great quick release. Just like that, if I had more wheels, I could just swap between wheels. You can definitely feel a good weight on that steering wheel. Good quality clicks. With these screws back here in the springs, you can adjust those feels and how much of throw you have. So it really allows you to customize it to your personal preference. And then just like that, the wheel's back on. So all in all, I'm very happy with the construction. Obviously, AccuForce is more in the entry level of direct drive wheels. There are some wheels out there that have a lot more Newton meters, but then again, you're paying a lot more money for those. Eventually, we will try some different gear on here and give you some feedback, but definitely going from a TSPC racer, which is a belt-driven wheel at 7 Newton meters, to this direct drive wheel at 13 Newton meters. Day-night difference in terms of the feedback I'm getting. Again, the feel, it definitely feels like I'm more in a real car, more real, more depth. It's almost as if you can feel the suspension loading instead of just kind of like an on and off kind of bump in the steering wheel. Then again, I don't know if it's necessarily going to make me faster. That's something with more testing will tell me, but it definitely feels more real. And I know I'm going to enjoy my sim racing and be immersed a lot more using the AccuForce Pro V2. All right, guys, so that wraps it up for us for today. If you have any questions or comment, please be sure to email it, send it to us by our live chat, our social media, or just give us a call. Until then, we'll see you on the virtual tracks.